Hey everyone, QBKing77 here from the AC Syndicate team, here with a much awaited video from all of you guys. I've been getting a lot of requests for this video, but finally here to do a full review of the Samsung Galaxy Nexus from Sprint. Definitely getting a lot of people saying, when's this going to come out? Well, I finally went ahead and did a bunch of testing and am ready to go. But before I do jump into it, I do want to remind you guys, a lot of people have been asking, hey QB, where can I go and find and buy and sell my used Android device? A lot of people saying, where can I go find some cheap used Android devices? Definitely be sure to check out Swappa.com. I mentioned it in previous videos, but a lot of people must have forgot because I've been getting a lot of questions asking, hey, can you remind me which site that was? But Swappa.com, you can buy and sell your gently Android used devices. Also, if you want to sell them, you don't have to deal with any eBay fees or anything like that. It's very easy. So I will post a link in the description of the video to Swappa.com. You're definitely going to want to check that out. But anyways, we are ready to go. Go ahead and get into the review of the Sprint Galaxy Nexus. This is part one. I'm going to go ahead and make it a two-part video, as it probably will get extensive as I like to jump into detail with certain things. But let's go ahead and get into it. Alright, so here is the device itself, the Sprint Galaxy Nexus. Right away, you will notice the very big 4.65 inch display, 4.65 inch screen, which is quite large for a device. Obviously, they're getting bigger and bigger, of course. So it also, you will notice a nice curved design to it. It does have a bit of a curve to it. Right away, when I first got it, it did remind me of a bigger Nexus S 4G, and I mean, they do look similar. There's obviously a little bit of differences, obviously with the bigger screen and such, but it definitely did remind me of the design of a Nexus S 4G. So if you've seen a Nexus S, you definitely will know the design, especially the curved design to it. I do like that a lot. It gives a nice feel. It's very, very sturdy, very well built. Obviously, with the 4.65 inch screen, you get a lot of screen space as well. But on the left side here, we've got two volume rockers up and down, of course, so that's it for the left side. On the right side here, you've got your power button along with these three little dots here, which would be for the dock, in case you were wondering. Although I do have to say, I really am pleased with the position of the buttons on this phone in regards to the volume buttons being right where my middle finger is and the power button being in the perfect spot for my thumb. Samsung does a nice job. I definitely prefer the power button being right here and the volume buttons being right here. It's the perfect position for these buttons. I don't know if that matters to you guys, but it definitely matters to me. I definitely like power button to be right there and the volume buttons to be right there. It's a perfect design with these buttons. And at the bottom of the device, as you can see, you have the 3.5mm headphone jack along with the slot for your micro SD cable, along with the microphone actually. So you see that little hole there, that would be the microphone. This is just a sticker over here on the back here. As you can see, you have the speaker. Obviously this little device isn't going to come with your phone. It's a fly grip I have on there, which pretty much always like to have with all the bigger smartphones, or pretty much any phone. Lately anyway. You have a nice design on the back. Actually, I do really like the back plate. The back plate feels nice. It definitely has texture to it, but it's also got a soft feel to it. I actually was at my buddy Tim's house, and he has an unlocked Galaxy Nexus, and the back plate is different. The unlocked Galaxy Nexus's back plate is actually a little more rough and doesn't have as soft of a feel as the Sprint one, so I'm actually very pleased that we got the softer plate, as I prefer it a little more. It feels very nice to touch. Of course, says Sprint right there. You've got a 5-megapixel camera right there with an LED flash, which I will get to in a while. As I said, we got a nice speaker right there down at the bottom. But that's about it for design on the sides and such. Up at the top, you've got your other speaker along with the sensors there and a front-facing camera, a 1.3 megapixel front-facing camera there to take pictures, do video chat, all that good stuff. And also down at the bottom here is actually an LED light, a notification light. I will go ahead and show you guys that now. Alright, so I just received a text message that I sent, so it should go ahead and blink, letting me know I do have a notification right there. So as you can see, that's very cool. I do like it. It looks very nice. that is down there, right there, once more. So there you have it there, nice notification light going on. But overall, hardware-wise, I do like the feel of it. It feels nice. It is, I mean, I wouldn't say it's light. It's definitely a sturdy device, well built as well. Not, you don't have that plasticky feel to it. It definitely feels like it is well made, so you don't have to worry about that. Speaker wise, I mean, when you're on speakerphone with calls or playing music, it's okay. Nothing amazing, but I mean, it does its job. It definitely sounds pretty good. So speaker wise, nothing to worry about there. But let's go ahead and jump into it. Alright, so right away we have the stock lock screen. As you can see right here, when you press the unlock button, you have the option to go to camera, straight to camera, or to unlock the device. So you have two options there. Right away, running Ice Cream Sandwich, obviously the latest Android version, which is obviously great. You'll also notice down at the bottom you do not have capacitive buttons. You have actually on-screen buttons, back home, and basically your recent apps, running apps list there. In regards to this, I mean, they're okay. They do take a little while to get used to the on-screen buttons, so don't be frustrated right away. You might accidentally press them whether you're typing or trying to select an app down in the dock. Don't be frustrated if you do accidentally press them, because that pretty much does go away as you get used to it. So it takes probably about a few days to actually get used to having these down here as opposed to capacitive buttons. But overall, I do like the on-screen buttons. It just took a little while to get used to. At first I didn't. But also, what I don't like is how there's no menu button. I'll get to that in a bit, but there definitely needs to be a menu button. It makes you think that they kind of went away with the menu button, but there still is definitely a need for a menu button, which I will get to in a little bit. But of course, we have the stock Ice Cream Sandwich launcher right here, which gives you options to make folders. As you can see, I got a nice Google folder there. You can rename it by touching the name down at the bottom. So we have a nice Google folder there, just kind of drop apps on one another. As you can see, I have a couple browsers down here too. But overall, 5 home screen options you'll see there. You'll also notice you got a nice Ice Cream Sandwich blue color look to it. So let's go ahead and look up at the top here, and we will basically see that we have a nice blue look to it. The clock is blue, battery icon's blue, my Wi-Fi icon and signal bars are all blue. If I go ahead and swipe down here, you'll see you have different notifications. What you can do with these notifications, if you want to get rid of one of them, you can just swipe it away. So as you can see, my Gmail notification went away, and I still have this notification here. You have a quick settings button right there, which you can jump to very quickly. Overall, though, it is semi-transparent. You can see through it somewhat, but not completely. Obviously, it is dark tinted. It says Sprint down at the bottom. But you can also press this X to clear your notifications. So anyways, you see you got the date here. You also have this little button here that will take you straight into the settings. So you got a bit of a settings shortcut, which is pretty nice to have when you want to get straight into your settings. So you've got that option. Also, of course, this is the settings menu, many different settings. Let's go to About Phone first. As you can see, Galaxy Nexus Android version 4.0.4, which is what I am running. So obviously Sprint Galaxy Nexus there. But overall, you've got wireless and networks up at the top. Basically, you got Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, data usage, and more. You can tap on Wi-Fi. It'll take you to your list of Wi-Fi ones. You can turn it on or off. Just press it. I also want to go to more real quick because I want to point something out. Obviously, this is the first Sprint LTE device. That is kind of what they're saying. So basically what you want to do to kind of get that working, you want to go to mobile networks, and then you want to go to network mode. Under network mode, you'll see you have preferred network mode, LTE, CDMA, and CDMA. Right now, if obviously you can turn on LTE CDMA, but it's most likely not going to connect. I mean, right away, it might not. Maybe in a week or two, they could flip the switch and turn on their towers, and it might. But I highly recommend for now keeping it on CDMA until the LTE networks come up. But as you can see, it does have LTE capabilities. I'm very excited to see what that has in store for speed-wise. You've got sound settings, of course, different volumes, vibrate and ring, just basically standard Android sound settings. Same with display as well, brightness. In regards to the brightness, I have automatic brightness checked. The automatic brightness is kind of goofy. I wouldn't say it doesn't work. It can sometimes be a little laggy to kind of adjust to the lighting. When I go outside and I turn on my phone, it does take a little while for the phone to recognize that there's a lot of bright light and needs to switch to a brighter display. So I wouldn't say it doesn't work. It just kind of takes a while sometimes, and it can be kind of goofy. It'll just kind of flicker. I wouldn't say flicker, but get brighter and darker real quick. So overall, it is kind of finicky, I guess you could say. Storage just kind of lets you know what's on your storage and such. Internal storage, you have about 29 gigs of space available. They say 32 gigs, but internal storage, you obviously got to use some of it up for the system. But so I mean, 32 gigabyte internal storage, no SD card slot, as I talked about with my design, but there's no external SD card, which I don't mind at all because 32 gigs is more than enough for me. I probably need about a 25 gig device, so I'm pretty set with 32 gigs. I don't mind not having that SD card, but if it was a 16 gig device only, I would definitely kind of be a little upset there was no micro SD slot. But as I said, it's 32 gigs, so you really don't have to worry there. Battery life. Obviously, you go into battery, you got different settings. I guess I can talk about battery life. Battery life is actually pretty good. So I've really had no issues. I haven't charged this all day, and it's at 40% discharging, screen on time being about almost an hour. So overall, it is pretty good. It's not going to get you throughout the day. I mean, it's nothing to really write home about. It's not exactly amazing battery life or anything, but it is better than pretty much most Android phones. But I mean, especially with the newer phones coming out, usually battery life tends to be good. But not always with all devices. I mean, battery life is just okay. It's not going to get you completely through the day, but it will definitely be a decent amount of time, especially having the 1850 milliamp hour battery it does have. So, I mean, overall, you got a lot of power there with that battery, and it does its job. It's definitely pretty good battery life. I have really no complaints about the battery life. I mean, especially because you're pretty much always, depending on your usage, you're going to have to probably charge it at least once. Not very many devices can get you through an entire day without charging it anyways. So anyways, you have app settings, you have accounts and sync, location services, which is GPS. In regards to location services, turning GPS on, GPS works really well. I've had absolutely no issues with locks. I've waited for a rainy day, and I got a lock right away, so no issues there with GPS. In case you are someone that uses it a lot, you don't have to worry about it failing on you. It definitely did its job for me. Language and input, keyboard settings, you have dock settings, date and time, accessibility, developer, and about phone again. So there you have it in your settings menu. Of course, all your Android settings, you have a lot of those customizations and such. But something I do want to talk about would basically be that menu button issue that I was talking about. So I definitely believe they should have left a menu button in these on-screen buttons. For example, let's go ahead and go into this game, Hearts. It's a card game I like to play. You'll notice right away it shows some 3 buttons down here on the right. So I press it, and basically that's our menu button for this app. What Ice Cream Sandwich basically does is makes I would think the app developer has to decide where they want that menu button to be. And it's different throughout any application. So you'll see it's down here. This is where I think they should have put it always. They should have made a consistent menu button right down here. But anyways, let's go ahead and go into the dialer. So for example, we go into the dialer, you'll see the dial pad right here, and you'll see a menu button is right here now. So, I mean, overall, you'll sometimes get it up at the top, you'll sometimes get it towards the bottom, sometimes you'll get it down here on the actual on-screen buttons, but it's very hard because you want to press the menu button and you're like, oh, which app am I in, where is it at again? So it's definitely a little issue that I think needs to be fixed. They definitely need to include a menu button. Hopefully, Samsung or HTC will with their overlays. As much as I really don't like their overlays, hopefully they will include a menu button down there with the on-screen buttons. But that's my little issue there with the menu button. But anyways, nice theming there though to the dialer. You can swipe through call log, contacts, go through. Obviously it looks very nice. Search menu. But that is it for part 1 of my review of the Galaxy Nexus. You're definitely going to want to check out part 2. I go over many, many more things, so be sure to watch that. I'll link to it in the description of the video or somewhere near here. But also be sure to watch those videos linked in the description and go over many more things Galaxy Nexus related. But yeah, that's about it for part 1. Be sure to check out part 2. Be sure to subscribe to me and follow me on various social media. And thanks for watching part 1.